Dyaneshwar Padwal joins in this morning with his top trades. Dyaneshwar, it's tough to call the index this morning, and I don't even know whether it's going to be worth it, given that we are going to see expiry in today's day of trade. But if we had to predict this one, we know it will be a volatile start. Global equity markets are trading firm. Where do you see the April series expiring at?
Yeah, good morning, Samina. Looking at the current market structure, we have that opinion that the Nifty is initially heading for 10,600, 650 marks, and the Nifty is unfolded into the correct pattern wherein it has taken a psychological support of 10,000 and managed to surpass 200-day moving average, which was placed at 10,200. And recently, we observed that the Nifty is facing a very strong resistance near about 10,640 marks. So that would be a 50% Fibonacci retracement of the previous fall.
Dyaneshwar, what is the trade on Bank Nifty? Where do you see that expiring at today? It's been a laggard as compared to the index itself, and most recommendations are that one should trade the Nifty as opposed to Bank Nifty. You've also got two big earnings from Yes Bank and Axis too, which may sort of determine the course of where Bank Nifty trades at. But if I had to ask you in terms of expectation, where do you see Bank Nifty expire at?
Yeah, in case of Bank Nifty have a tendency to show the similar view like an benchmark index, but financials have their own personality. And earlier we have seen that the Bank Nifty has bounced back from the level of 24,600 towards the 25,400, and later on that level has been capped, and bears took the charge and dragged the Bank Nifty downwards towards the 24,700, 24,800 mark, and the 200-day moving average was placed at 25,000. So we are expecting on the expiry day the Bank Nifty should get expired between the range of 24,800 to 25,000.
Right. IT is going to be in focus once again. So while the rupee continues to trade weak, which sentimentally is working out for IT counters, we had a disappointing sort of earnings coming in from Wipro yesterday. Ahead of earnings, of course, we saw some buying on Wipro too. As we gear up this morning, if you do get a gap down of about 1 to 2%, or even more for that matter, what would you be inclined to do on Wipro? Would you trade the counter? Would you initiate shorts after you get a gap down this morning?
Yeah, in case of whole IT sector, if we are talking about, so if you can throw some lights on the relative rotation graph, so IT index is moving in a leading quadrant where the relative momentum and relative strength is very high. So we are expecting that the IT index is continue to travel towards the north. And in case of Wipro, if Wipro opens gap down the near the level of 275.70, so that would be a multi-supportive level. So I would rather going short. So it would find an buying opportunity near the level of 270.
Beyond Wipro, what happens to stocks like NIT Tech, Tata Elxsi, TCS? I'm just going to throw in Mindtree in that list too. What sort of a trade are you anticipating today? If they do trade flat in early hours this morning, would you be initiating any trades? The risk reward is not favorable anymore for some of these IT counters.
See, in case of IT, we have seen that the spectacular rally in IT, the whole sector, and the officers like an Infosys, TCS have shown their performance, and simultaneously followed by the soldiers like an midcap IT. They have also showed a very good performance, and we are expecting that the midcap IT also in coming days is continue to travel towards the north. And in mid-cap IT, I would suggest to go for NIT Tech because NIT Tech recently moved in a clear uptrend. So any dips comes towards the 1070, 1060 level. So that would be a buying opportunity for a next leg of up move towards the 1200 mark.
Dyaneshwar, I get your point, but after the kind of up move this counter has made, I'm not sure how much upside is still remaining. So what I'm going to ask you is, what would you do with the KPIT then? Because usually, historically, KPIT and NIT Tech work as a pair. We've seen NIT Tech gain about 20 to 25% more than what KPIT has done in the last couple of weeks. Do you not think that keeping the risk reward in mind, KPIT would make a better trading call?
Yeah, if you can compare KPIT with NIT Tech, so I would suggest KPIT would be a good bet because recently we have seen a multi-year breakout in the range of 234-35. So this KPIT looks some promising. Some steams is left in KPIT to rise towards the 260-270 mark.
Right, so that's the word on IT here. But Dyaneshwar, also, what's your take on Reliance Industries? Again, the stock actually has started to see some early buying out of the results on Friday here, and long build-up seen in that counter. And number two, while again we're talking about Reliance Industries, what's your take on a couple of NBFCs here? Again, M&M Finance, M&M both, again, have been seeing some good long build-up here. So on all the three stocks, again, what's the view here?
Yeah, good morning, Piyush. Recently, we have seen in Reliance Industry is unfolded into the corrective pattern. And you know, the day before yesterday's move suggests that it has resumed the uptrend and poised for an initial leg of move towards the 1050. So I would suggest traders to go long in Reliance Industry. And talking about the M&M Finance, yes, in case of M&M Finance, we have seen that the spectacular rally from the level of 420 towards the 520. So I would suggest traders to wait for a correction. So if any dips come towards the 490-95 level, so that would be a great opportunity to buy.
Right. Dyaneshwar, getting beyond that, we saw a big move on stocks like Raymond as well yesterday. Textile earnings have been impressive, if I may say so, after a very long time. 6% move on Raymond, but the rest of the sector came under pressure. So if I look at Arvind, it's been trying to consolidate in that 420, 425 mark. Yesterday it slipped below that, ended about 1% lower. Bombay Dyeing did a similar sort of move. Taking a cue from Raymond, do you think it's only a matter of time or a few days that stocks like Arvind should begin to play catch-up and for levels of 440 should be hit sooner than later?
Yes, if you talk about the Raymond, yes, if you can look at the monthly chart, so Raymond is moving in a clear uptrend, and after giving a recent pullback, it has resumed the uptrend. And if you compare with the Arvind, so if you can go to the Arvind also, Arvind is moving in a clear uptrend, and recently it has given a pullback. So I would suggest this would be a great buying opportunity in case of Arvind. So traders can go long in Irving by keeping a stop loss of 410 mark. And as you said, in few coming days, we'll see the level of 440, 450.
Dyaneshwar, what about recommendations? What stocks are you recommending this morning? Any long or short trades?
Yeah, yes, I would suggest from the FMCG counter because if you can keep lights on the relative rotation graph, so FMCG sector is moving in a leading quadrant. So I would suggest Tata Global in that pack because Tata Global is moving in a clear uptrend on monthly chart, and recent throwback could be capitalized as a buying opportunity. And recent news suggests that Tata Global has been resumed the uptrend for an initial leg of up move towards the 300 and 310 mark.
Thanks for that, Dyaneshwar. That's the recommendations coming in. Consumption, that's the big theme to follow.